The answer to this question really is the cliche, age is just a number. I think the youngest person we've taught how to wakeboard was 5, and the oldest was 82, if I remember correctly. So there really isn't a right age, it's just based on you as an individual. I started when I was 13. As I said, I was 13 when I first started wakeboarding. I think I did my first contest when I was 14 the next summer, and I went pro at the age of 18. I actually only have one boat, my heyday WT2 DC, but my fiance has a wakeboard boat and his mom has a 42-foot catamaran, so I guess I am surrounded by boating friends and families all over. There's so much you can learn on a trampoline. Definitely when I started learning flips, I would do a lot of them on the trampoline first before I started trying them on the water. Spins, handle control. I used to tie a rope to a tree and jump on the trampoline and really just mimic the feeling and the motions of being on my board. There's so many good instructionals online, especially on YouTube right now, on how to get up on a board for your first time. But essentially, the biggest advice I can give you is to let the boat do all the work and relax. Just try and the boat is going to be way stronger than you are, so it needs to pull you up, not the other way around. So knees bent, arms straight, and let the boat pull you up. And take your time before you try and stand up. That goes for both boards. Of course, my favorite feature of my boat is my wake, because that's where all the fun is made. Ooh, some products that is good for boating. There's a lot. Of course, my board, my slingshot contrast. Swimsuits that fit well, make me feel comfortable and doesn't slip around when I'm out riding. I always bring a changing towel or a towel. Lately, I've been using Nomandie or Nomandix. I don't know how you say that brand, but I find them very good. I also really like all the Yeti products. I have a Yeti cooler, a Yeti cup, usually either filled with iced coffee or just my water with a lot of ice, because I get really thirsty when I'm on the boat. Tons and tons of sunscreen. I use a mix of La Roche-Posay sunscreen and the Manda paste, which I just kind of put all over my face and it just sticks there kind of like a mask for the whole day. What else? I always try and bring some waters out for my friends because they're not as experienced with boating as I am. So for them to not want to just go back to shore right after we get out, I keep some snacks and some waters on the boat. This one is super hard because I've been to a lot of very cool places. I would say Orlando is a really good spot for meeting new wakeboarding people. It's kind of like the world hub of wakeboarding. Philippines for a while was really fun. Would go there and ride cable. Of course, I started in Sweden, and the passion for the sport when it's really cold is always gonna make it one of my favorite spots. I lived in Spain for a while, Australia, the list just goes on. So this story is pretty simple. I went to Orlando for 2 summers and try to make it as a professional wakeboarder, as a lot of people do when they start out, or it's a really good place to start. But it never really felt like home. And one of my coaches, Adam Fields, had a wakeboard school here in North Carolina on Lake Gaston. But I also really have a passion for ocean surfing, so I didn't want to live too far from the coast, and Wilmington just ended up being the perfect place of having friends to wakeboard with. I ride with one of Adam's friends, Kara, who runs a wakeboard school here called Shrebinar, and I'm really close to the ocean to surf. Oh, and while I was on Kara's wakeboard boat, I met my fiance, who also wakeboards and who lives here. So that's kind of the short version of why we now have a house in Wilmington, because he's from here, or North Carolina. Again, there's a lot of good memories, but the first memory that came to mind when I read this question was when I lived in Spain. I taught a man to wakeboard who did not know how to swim and who was terrified of water. So it was really cool. The first lesson, we just put 2 life jackets on him. He jumped in the water and just tried to get comfortable being strapped into the board, and he was terrified, but he made himself keep going. Later that day, he got up on a wakeboard and just rode for a full 2 minutes, and just his excitement and his just how he conquered his fear was really cool. So I think I have to say that one. Wow, this one's hard because I've been a pro wakeboarder for so long now. I think for a while before I decided to go down this route, I wanted to go into psychology and study to become a psychologist, but I don't think I want to do that anymore. So for now, because I've fallen in love with content creating, filming, just being creative, I would have to say, I guess, some sort of digital content creator. Well, if you follow me, you know that my boat is my baby. I love the wake behind my heyday. I love how simple it is to use. It's super user-friendly. It fits all my friends, and it's just like really cool looking. So I'm impressed with the performance, and I love it. I have a few. I would say Anna Nickstad and Lisa Ballou because of how stylish they are on their boards. I'd also have to say Sina because of what she's done with Copycats Club. I think it's really cool taking her passion and sharing it like that. For men, I'd probably have to say John Dryling because of all the weird stuff he does and how his mind just thinks of things that nobody else thinks of. Josh Twelker because of his incredible style. And probably Tyler Hyam, I've been loving watching him ride lately. Wow, this is a really deep question. I'm gonna assume that we're talking about wakeboarding here and not just life in general. But I think for me, for a while, I didn't really feel motivated to wakeboard. I was just focused on what everybody else wanted me to do more than why I enjoyed the sport. So I think my advice would be to focus on why you're doing anything and try and separate your inner motivation from the outer motivation of getting other people's approval. Because in the end, if we're not enjoying what we're doing, then what's the point, right? So do what you love and do it good. We set our wedding date, May 20th of 2023, and I cannot wait. It feels so long from now, but we have so much to do. So I'm still like in the fun part of planning. I haven't gotten super stressed out yet, but I'm sure it's gonna happen. This could mean a couple of different things depending on what you do. So really the best way to improve is to find a coach or wakeboard instructor that lives close to you and maybe just take one lesson and ask for a bunch of stuff that you can practice on your own. But really it's either going to come down to your edge. You might be edging too hard too soon, or you might be not edging hard enough. Your timing on top of the wake of pushing up with your legs, and you're controlling your line tension. First of all, the best kind of training is the training that actually happens. So if you have any kind of exercising or training that you really like, and you can stick to it, I would just suggest that one. But if you're asking me specifically for water sports, I would say functional training, which means that you're using your whole body as a unit rather than isolating the muscles in like different machines, is the way to go. So basically, any athlete gym will have this available. I go to a gym called Emotion, where we work a lot with free weights, and we just load the entire body up like with different exercises that activates as much as possible.